High in the misty highlands, amidst lush, rolling tea estates, an old-fashioned bungalow sat alone, a solitary figure against the backdrop of emerald hills. It was here that Roger, his wife Laura, and their two young sons, Carl and Johnny, had moved, seeking peace in the serene landscape. The bungalow exuded an old-world charm with its sprawling verandas and towering, weathered stone walls, but there was something unnervingly quiet about it, as though the walls held onto secrets from the past. The family had been waiting for a maid to help with the housework. Weeks passed, and just as they were beginning to lose hope, a young woman arrived on a stormy night. She wore simple clothes, her face half hidden beneath her wet hair, and she introduced herself as Molly. Soft-spoken and reserved, Molly quickly became part of the household. She took to her duties quietly, working with a dedication that bordered on ritual. Her only companions were Carl and Johnny, to whom she grew especially close, often playing with them in the garden or telling them stories of the estate's mysterious past. But Molly remained distant from the adults, especially from Roger's friend, Mohan, who visited often. Mohan was a loud, brash man with a disarming smile, but whenever he arrived, Molly would avoid him, her expression shifting to one of cold discomfort. One evening, during a dinner at the bungalow, Mohan asked Roger with a smirk, "Where's your new maid hiding? She seems mysterious." "Oh, she isn't feeling well tonight," Roger replied, brushing it off casually, unaware of the unease that had gripped Molly since Mohan's arrival. She avoided him as much as possible, and something in her silence made Mohan suspicious. He found himself thinking about her more than he cared to admit, her silence bothering him in ways he couldn't quite understand. A week later, during an unusually rainy day, Roger and his family left for town, leaving the bungalow empty, save for Molly, who remained behind to tend to the house. The rain hammered down, the downpour turning the garden into a mist-laden swamp. Seeing an opportunity, Mohan returned to the bungalow, determined to uncover the mystery that lingered around the quiet maid. "Roger? Laura? Anyone home?" Mohan's voice echoed through the empty halls, but there was no response. As he walked further in, he heard a faint rustling from the upper floor, a sound from the room where Molly stayed. Grinning to himself, he climbed the stairs. "Molly, are you in there?" he called, but there was no answer. As he reached her door, a strange chill permeated the air, as though the temperature had plummeted. Mohan pushed the door open, peering inside. There, in the dim light, he saw her standing with her back turned, her figure motionless, unnaturally still. Save me." Mohan's voice broke, his tone strangled with fear as Molly turned to face him, her eyes dark and unfathomable, her expression filled with a rage that seemed to pull from an unspeakable pain. Shadows danced across her face as she moved closer, the air around them growing suffocatingly cold. A dreadful silence filled the house as the storm outside swallowed his cries. When the family returned later that evening, the bungalow was darker, colder, and oddly silent. Laura called out for Mohan, her voice trembling. Moments later, Carl found him, Mohan's lifeless body lying in Molly's room, his face twisted in horror, his mouth frozen in a silent scream. The police arrived to investigate, and as they searched for Molly, they found her room empty. No one knew where she had gone or why she had disappeared. Days later, as Carl and Johnny sat with their mother, Carl suddenly remembered something. "Mom, I have photos of Molly on my phone from when we were playing. Maybe we can show them to the police." He unlocked his phone, but the screen showed nothing but a strange blur of black smoke where Molly should have been. There was no trace of her in any of the images, just a ghostly darkness, as if she had been swallowed by shadows. During the police investigation, a 10-year-old diary was discovered in Molly's room, tucked away beneath the floorboards. Inside, the officers found a faded photograph of a young girl, smiling, innocent, unaware of the tragedy that lay ahead of her. As they flipped through the pages, they uncovered a story of betrayal and cruelty. The diary told of a young woman named Molly, who had been assaulted and murdered 10 years prior by a man who escaped justice. The description of the man in her words fit Mohan exactly. Her last, chilling words read, "One day, I will return, and justice will find those who took my life." The family moved away from the bungalow soon after, unable to bear the memories of that dark night. But the locals in the highlands whispered of a shadow that still wandered the tea estate. A figure glimpsed in the mist, a young woman with dark eyes and a quiet, unyielding rage. And on stormy nights, when the rain drowned out all other sounds, they said you could still hear a soft voice murmuring in the wind, a voice filled with sorrow, seeking justice from beyond the grave.